Hello and welcome to Cricket Adda Presents Wrong One, episode 12. Once again, the consistency is the key, but this time we have changed the day. We are not live on Sunday, we are live on Saturday. And I think it's pretty obvious the reason for that is that there is an India Pakistan game tomorrow, hopefully, if rain stays away. And if rain doesn't stay away, we have a reserve day. We will come to that point as well, that just the India Pakistan game has reserve day. But let's start with the other two series which are on as well. A lot of cricket is on. A couple of squads have been announced, so there is a lot to discuss in this episode. Let's start with the England New Zealand ODI series. The T20I series ended in a draw. It was 2-2. England won the first two T20Is. New Zealand won the last two T20Is. But New Zealand have started on the right note in the ODI format as well, as they chased down 292 with utmost ease. Devon Conway 117 not out, if I'm not wrong. Daryl Mitchell scoring a century as well. So fantastic innings from both of them. England tried hard to get to 291. Butler got a half century. Stokes got a half century. Livingstone got a half century, but the bowling was not at all up to the mark. Kevin, your thoughts on the first ODI between England and New Zealand? A couple of things which were noticeable was Harry Brook opened the innings, so maybe they're considering him as a backup to Jason Roy when the main squad is announced. Apart from that, England's bowling looked a bit toothless without Mark Wood. So those are the things which were noticeable, apart from the fantastic partnership by Conway and Mitchell.
Yes, it was astonishing for me to see Harry Brook open the innings, and there was some news saying that Jason Roy pulled up a niggle just before the match,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
had to slot in Harry Brook for that matter. And although Harry Brook is very talented, I don't see him coming into the side in place of either Jason Roy or David Malan, because David Malan has been in exceptional form, and also he has the ability to play the long game, so you need him, and having a player like him to bat alongside Joe Root helps the England batting, because we saw yesterday when Joe Root went quickly, you need someone to rebuild. Luckily for them, they had uh, Stokes and Butler to have that kind of innings, and Liam Livingstone did what every Indian fan expects of Surya Kumar Yadav for that matter. So it was good, like to see, but I was very surprised with England's bowling, and I never expected them to be so toothless, taking nothing away from Devon Conway and Dan Mitchell with the way they batted. But to not even produce a fall shot was surprising to me. And I think, we always look at England as a batting heavy side, but I think the bowling needs to deliver, especially when they don't get 300, 320 plus scores. You need the bowling to pick in wickets. And I was actually very disappointed with Reece Topley, the way he went about. I was expecting him to create a little bit more of more opportunities, but he just was completely negated off.
Yeah, Shabby, if you could just give your thoughts here. I think the concern was not that England lost, but the way they lost, as if like 290 is a decent score. You think that New Zealand would need some effort to do that, but it was absolutely flawless. I mean, the chase was really smooth. Conway doing what he does best, scored a century. Daryl Mitchell coming in, scoring quickly as well. So as Kevin said, I think Topley was very disappointing. Apart from that, even Rashid, even though he got a wicket of his first ball, he got smacked by Mitchell towards the end of the innings. And apart from that, Livingstone and all are just part-time bowlers. You can't expect a lot from them. But even the frontline bowlers, Willie, or Gus Atkinson, who was who has played very less cricket for England, was part of the squad of the 11. So the bowling looked like a bit weak, and that would be a concern for England going forward, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. So main thing is, yes, I was just going through the scorecard as I could watch the match. I can from the scorecard I can clearly see that Adil Rashid has been smacked. Joe Root has been smacked, and Livingston, as you rightly said, Livingston has been smacked for a lot. So yeah, two of them are part-time spinners. One is proper spinner. They can definitely work well in Indian conditions. So that's not to be the bigger concern right now, because right now they're playing in England, so they can work in India. And if you see Reece Topley, and he's playing in England, and he has been smacked as well by 7.8 economic rate. So that can be the shade of concern for England. I guess he's like a leading bowler right now after Mark Wood in England squad. So if a leading bowler is getting smacked like this, then it's definitely a bit of concern for them. And 291, I don't think like in these days is like pressure taking score or a big score. These days, all the teams have adopted T20 format of playing in ODIs as well. So yes, they get to be a bit aggressive, and once they settle, then obviously they get their T20 game in the ODI cricket, and then such thing happen easily, easy chases. Same happened if you see. I don't know. I know we are not there yet, but Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka match, 37 overs, 270 or 290. I'm sorry, 290 something. Same score. So we can see such aggressive cricket is being played in ODI cricket now. So yeah, these are the new days of ODI cricket.
Yeah, definitely. The only talking point about this would be about Harry Brook, and we will come to that as well. Kevin, if you want to add your two pennies on it. Harry Brook, so I think we mentioned briefly that they might be considering him as an opener, but then you said that it's difficult for him to replace, say, Roy or Malan in the squad. Uh, they have five or six pacers in this World Cup squad, which they have announced right now, which can be changed till 28th of September. Do you see Harry Brook coming in as a backup for one of those, as a replacement for one of those pacers? Because I think Gus Atkinson, David Willey, Reece Topley, Mark Wood, Sam Curran, Chris Wokes, that's a lot of pacers in India.
Yes, I do feel you need an extra batsman. I think England needs two backup batsmen, one for the top order and one for the middle order, in case anything happens to Stokes, or because we're not even we're not considering that he's coming into he's played a lot of cricket, especially with all the expectations that were there around him in the Ashes, and he came out from an injury when he was with in the IPL team with CSK. So like in case you want to rest him and you want to keep him fresh, you need an extra batsman over there, and that's where I think Harry Brook comes into place. Now you have Sam Curran, you have David Willey, you have Reece Topley, and you have Gus Atkinson. I can understand Gus Atkinson being you can say the backup to Mark Wood. I don't think he played yesterday's game at all. So
Mark Wood didn't play yesterday's game, yeah.
no, even Gus Atkinson, did he play yesterday's game?
Gus Atkinson did play. Gus
Okay,
Atkinson
fine.
did play yesterday's game,
So
yeah.
either they have to take the call whether they want to because and you say he couldn't penetrate into he didn't get the wickets or he didn't even induce false edges for that
Yeah.
matter. So either if you're having Gus Atkinson as a backup to Mark Wood, it makes sense. But you cannot have three left armers over there. Just you can't play David Willey and Sam Curran because they can bat and bowl a bit. So either you pick them purely on their bowling or you pick them on their batting. And I think there is space for one of the three. I don't think, they would want to drop David Willey, especially because they dropped him in 2019 as well. And he's done well, there's no doubt. And Sam Curran, there's this aura around him, so you got to back him. And Gus Atkinson looks promising, but he hasn't had that kind of experience. So I think in case if they want to go ahead, they might think about dropping Gus Atkinson, but then the prospect of him being as a backup to Mark Wood is where he's playing. But I definitely see one of them being benched and missing out for the World Cup spot because you would want Harry Brook as a cover, like because Liam Livingstone, although he did well, he doesn't look promising as a wicket taker for that matter. They might want to play into proper spinners and a proper batsman to exploit. So it's a very tricky, it's a bold move. Whatever England goes, whatever the decision they take, it will just give an idea as to how they're thinking, whether they want to be a bit of both batting and bowling, or they just want to go pure batsmen and back the bowlers to get them wickets. Because we're not taking into consideration that in the pitches that are going to be in India are going to be similar to the ones that England is currently playing on. So if they can't, if especially the defeat that they had yesterday, where Butler just didn't know what to do, like, and it's the way Daryl Mitchell, I think, special credit to him, the way we attacked Adil Rashid for that matter, and just there was, though Rashid tried to slow it down and try to beat him in the air, he just completely knocked them out of the game, and they cruised, I think, with a lot of deliveries to spare. So I think England would want to look a bit more into that because there are some flaws, and although you can give them the tag of the favorites, but they still have some slight flaws, and they need to iron out. before the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think a lot depends on how the spin duo of Rashid and Moin Ali goes in the middle overs uh, in India when they are available. I mean, when both of them play together. But yeah, moving on from the England New Zealand ODI series to the Australia South Africa ODI series, and the second ODI is currently going on where Australia once again look in the dominant position. Last weekend we discussed about how Australia will win the T20I series 3-0. They have taken a 1-0 lead in the ODI series as well. Now let's start with the first ODI. And once again, the man who is known for coming in as a concussion replacement did come in for Cameron Green. Cameron Green got hit in the helmet from Kagiso Rabada. Manas Labuskagne, yes, you heard it right. Manas Labuskagne once again came in as a concussion replacement, scored 80 not out of 83 deliveries, chasing 223. And this might seem a very less target, but no, Australia were 113 for 7. So make no mistake, Marnus along with Ashton Ager stitched that 110 run partnership and made sure that Australia lead the series now 1-0. And once again, Marnus in today's game has managed to score another century, 124 of just 96 deliveries, if I'm not wrong. Australia have scored a mammoth 392 for 8 and look in a position to win the match once again. So Kevin, let's straight get into the point. I think you were in favor of Marnus getting a nod for the World Cup squad. He wasn't picked, and I was saying that yeah, because there is no space. You have Travis Head, you have Mitchell Marsh, you have Marcus Stoinis, you have Glenn Maxwell. Carey has to be part of the squad, and Inglis has to be part of the squad because of a backup wicketkeeper. How do you fit in Marnus? But now with these two performances, I think the selectors will be forced to pick him in the World Cup squad. But still, how do they fit him in this squad? Who do you drop? The 15 has been announced, so I think everybody is aware of the 15. We will discuss that as well. But who do you replace to get in Marnus?
Yeah, I think they're playing an all-rounder. They're playing an additional all-rounder, and one of the all-rounders has to miss out in case you want to have Manas, because you have Marcus Stoinis. You're fitting in Mitch Marsh. I don't see where Mitch Marsh is going to bat. If you're picking him as an opener, it makes sense. But I was only looking at Mitch Marsh as an opener if you're playing Mitch Marsh with David Warner or alongside Travis Head. And now Warner has done well, so you definitely you cannot drop Warner because of the experience that he brings to the side. So Warner bats. If you play Mitchell Marsh at as his partner 1 and 2, you have three Steve Smith. You have to play Travis Head at 4. You got Marcus Stoinis at 5. You got 6. You have Alex Carey, and 7 you have Glenn Maxwell, with Marnus coming in as a backup batsman. So you either play him in place of Cam Green and drop Cam Green for the World Cup, or you take a gamble and drop Sean Abbott, saying that Cam Green is a good enough pacer who can and do what we're expecting of Sean Abbott. Because the reason they pick Sean Abbott is because he can bat a bit and as a bowling all rounder, and I think Cam Green is much better replacement to him. So if the thought process is we're picking Mitchell Marsh to be our number one opener, then uh, then Manas comes in place of Sean Abbott for that matter. And in case if they're not thinking of Mitchell Marsh, because Mitchell Marsh has done really well in in Test format, and he's done well now in the recently concluded T20 format. But in ODIs, just he just played that one really good innings in a low-scoring game against India. I don't remember when was the last time I saw him playing consistently good ODI cricket. So as of now, I feel he's at a vulnerable spot because he's not been able to cash in the opportunities. And Cam Green has got a very good record for that matter, an average of 15, even a fifer he has, and he looks promising. Considering he just got 100 in India, so they would like to. I don't see him getting dropped. So Sean Abbott's position or Mitchell Marshall's position is where I feel. But I definitely think that Australia are going to rethink their strategies and make an exception and bring back Marnus, because in case you have a player losing form, he can slot in and he's really good. And the only place they can slot him is if they push Travis Head to open alongside David Warner and have him batted at number 4. And I think that is the right move because he has like none of the Australian batsmen who you look into this lineup are good players of spin. or the worst, the extreme situation that they can consider Australia is by dropping Josh Inglis and playing just Alex Carey as a keeper. And this is something that they did it in 2015 when they had just Brad Haddon as a keeper, and also in 2019 when they had just Alex Carey as a keeper. So they can consider that option, which I feel is not a bad option as well, because Josh Inglis has not has
Wasn't Peter Handscomb part of the 19 squad, or he came in as a
he came in
replacement?
as a replacement to
Okay,
Usman
okay,
Khawaja
okay.
because he got ruled
Yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah. Got it, got it. Yeah,
Travis
So
said keeps
yeah.
or he doesn't. I thought
No,
Travis
no,
said
no,
keep.
no.
He's a baller,
yes, he
part-time
Yeah,
bowls
baller.
a
he
Yeah,
does
bit.
bowl. He
He
does bowl.
bowls a bit.
So, Shabby, what Kevin is suggesting that it's either Mitchell Marsh or Sean Abbott. Sean Abbott looks like the player who could be dropped from the 15 because they have Cummins and Stark who will be part of the 11, and then you have Josh Hazelwood as well as a backup, and then as Kevin mentioned, you have Stoinis and Cameron Green and Mitchell Marsh to fill in as a Pacers fill in the Pacers role. So do you really need Sean Abbott? Can you get an extra batter there and bring in Marner? So that's the option. But apart from that, one more concern for Australia, it's a concern off the field, because on the field they are doing fantastically well. 2-0 is what they are going to lead the series. Four first 11 players are injured. It's Steve Smith, it's Glenn Maxwell, it's Pat Cummins, and it's Mitchell Stark. Do you think that if two of them, say two of them or one of them, doesn't get ready in time, is it a concern? Or you think that Australia should be fine once the World Cup starts?
I don't think borders can be compromised here. Stark and Cummins are like legends of the game, I feel. So they has to be fit for them to do well. Talking about Steven Smith again, Labuschagne is his like replacement. Okay, so I guess Labuschagne can definitely switch him in like few of the matches, not whole World Cup, but definitely some matches Labuschagne can take his place and won't affect much to their balance of the side. And Maxwell can definitely be avoided. I don't think Maxwell is like too big a player for ODI cricket. Yeah, he has his days. He has some matches where he has played like valiant innings. Just like how Rishabh Pant plays in India, or maybe Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya is like completely different batsman now, but earlier Hardik Pandya, I would say. So Maxwell is that kind of batsman. You can't rely on such kind of people. I feel in ODI cricket, they'll hit and miss players. So Maxwell, okay, good to have, but even if it's not there, I guess they have like enough firepower to back up him.
Yeah. Kevin, moving on to South Africa, it looks like they will go 2-0 down in this series. First match, they should have won. Temba Bavuma played a fantastic knock, scoring that century, carried the bat from the start to the end. Today, obviously, the bowling was not up to the mark. You are not really expecting a batting side to chase down 393 unless the bowling side is like absolutely worthless. But with a couple of good bowlers in Australia's 11, you think that South Africa will not be able to chase this down. So definite concerns for South Africa with the way that their batting looks good. Their batting is really well stacked up, but still they haven't managed to do well in the first ODI. And the bowling is a bit up and down. They have dropped a couple of players today. Gerald Coetzee has been dropped. I think Keshav Maharaj has been dropped. But even the regulars like Marco Jansen and Henrik Norke haven't been right up there with their bowling. So there is some concerns with this South African ODI team. They lost the T20I series as well, 3-0. So definite concerns in the South African camp, isn't it?
Kutsi was the best bowler in the last ODI, guess. And then
Yeah,
how
yeah.
was he dropped today? Injured or what?
Yeah, that's something which needs to be found out. But Norke is playing in place of him. So yeah, it's quite strange. It's quite strange.
I think it's to do with their quota system, kind of like that's why where they have to feed in, they have to fill in, you know, they have to have a uh, s- need to have some players of color represent them in x number of games, for that matter. That is the only reason I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see as
yeah,
to why
yeah.
Coach has been, because the sad part for them, for South Africa, is that they're not getting good enough runs from De Kock and Rassie van der Dusen,
And
and it's all.
Markram as well, to be
Yes,
honest.
and Markram as well. It's like surprisingly like that Temba Bavuma has been the best batsman, and he's done well. I think in 2 games now. So that's a good side for them. But the besides them, the top four, the other three in the top four, they are actually going to be. We're gonna it's disappointing for that matter. And coming back to the bowling, I think there are questions that need to be asked as to I don't see the sense of playing Philip Quire in this particular
Yeah,
game
yeah,
because he's not
absolutely no sense. Yeah.
he's not making a claim for himself in the squad. And if I think Kesha Maharaj has been benched for this game, and you had Shamsi. I don't see why they're not playing both the spinners together, because irrespective of how the conditions are, you need to have both of them bowl in tandem for that matter. And it's sad, especially the two spots that they had open, and they have gone in with bowlers for that matter, with Gerard Kotse and Sisada Magala, and I don't see how they both are going to fit into the side. And considering they are, Rabada, Nokia, Lungi Nigri, and Marco Janssen, the top four, you're going to rotate between these players. So I like, even though South Africa looks good on paper, I think they made a small mess in finding the right team balance for that matter. And you can see it today. Like I don't think I never expected this Aussie side to get a 392 against the likes of Rabada Nokia and Marco Jansen for that matter, but they did. And it just goes to show that maybe there are some issues within the bowling that South Africa need to iron out.
Yeah, there are definite issues, and I'm also like really surprised with the squad selection. Six pacers in that squad, just the two spinners who should be in the first 11. So no backup spinners, even though Markram, yes, he's going to bowl, but you need another spinner in the squad as well. So I won't be surprised if there is a change come 28th of September when you have to finalize the squad for the World Cup. A couple of questions coming in the comment section, so let's go to that. Shabby, if you want to answer this, would Pat Cummins make the 11 if not the 15 if he wasn't the captain? Interesting question, very interesting question. Shabby, if you would want to answer this.
He should make, I feel. I'm not sure about his ODI record actually. Test where he's very good, but if ODI record is not that good, then he definitely don't deserve a place in XI. But yeah, now with his captain, then he has a fixed place. So they can just hope that he will perform, he'll come good, just because of based on his experience.
Yeah, I think he would still make the 15 definitely. I'm not sure about the 11, but with his batting credentials as well, especially in the IPL, we saw that he can score quick runs as well, coming in at number 8, number 9. So he will make the 15. I'm not sure of the 11 with Stark, obviously your first choice bowler. Probably Hazelwood might get a nod ahead of Cummins if Cummins was not the captain, but now that he's the captain, he definitely makes the 11 every single game of the World Cup. Uh, Moving on to the big tournament which is going on right now. I don't know how big it is because it's becoming a farce nowadays with the way the management or the ACC is handling this tournament. Kevin, if you want to join in here. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that only the India Pakistan game has a reserve day. It's so unfair on the other teams. Now, luckily, today's game hasn't been washed out. Sri Lanka has managed to win the game. But say a Sri Lanka Bangladesh game gets washed out, they have to agree with 1 point, whereas India and Pakistan, one of them has a chance to get the 2 points on a reserve day. I mean, on what basis are they deciding it? It's just pretty evident that they just want India Pakistan to happen 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, how many ever times they can. So it's ridiculous, isn't it? And unfair
Yes,
on the other teams.
yes, it is. I think it's unfair on the fans as well. I think, especially the way the ACC has gone about, you can say, organizing this tournament. It was said to be, in Pakistan itself, and then just a few months before the tournament, you come up with a new schedule where there are more matches in Sri Lanka as compared to Pakistan. And like you can see, the schedule is completely off. Even the way they have actually structured it, like the uh, I just goes to say that I did think there's someone on top who doesn't want India Pakistan matches to continue, because you had the 2019 World Cup as well, which was affected by rain, and luckily for we didn't have the same thing with the T20 World Cup games. But you see the last week's game as well, that was washed out. Tomorrow there's a forecast for rain. I guess the reserve day as well has a forecast for rain.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be disappointing. Like watch a game that's start stop, and this goes to show like it's poor management and poor planning, for that matter. As to you're not considering the weather forecast into perspective, and there's a lot at stake, especially a loss for the broadcasters, for for the sponsors as well, and especially for the fans and the time that they're going to devote for this game. So let's see, fingers crossed. It's disappointing that we're wasting more time discussing the weather and what the players should do, when we can hardly see what the players are actually doing on the field. But it's good for some players who need a bit of rest, to use this time as a rest and get fit.
Yeah. Shabby, coming back to the first round of the matches where India and Pakistan made it through pretty easily. Each of them defeated Nepal. Pakistan got 3 points, if I'm not wrong. India got 3 points and they went through. So that group was pretty much certain who was going to make through. The second group was very interesting, and the Sri Lanka Afghanistan game had it all. Afghanistan had to chase the score in 37.1 overs, but there was a twist there as well. They still had a chance after 37.1, but the team players, I mean the batters out there in the middle, had no idea about that. As a result, Fazul Farooqi blocked a couple of balls, got dismissed on the third ball, and as a result, they lost the game, which they could have won. Not only won, they could have qualified as well had Mujib or Fazul Farooqi taken a single, and then Rashid Khan would have hit a six. If he would have done that, they had a fair chance of making it to the Super Fours. A bit disappointing from Afghanistan's analyst, I would say, that he didn't convey it to the team members or the players. Apart from that, I think you also mentioned on the group that this could have been displayed on the big screen if there was a big screen, because the commentators kept shouting in the commentary box saying that there is still a chance, there is still a chance. But all said and done, it was a fantastic game. Both the sides played some fantastic cricket, and at the end of the day, you have to say the better team made it to the Super Fours. What do you think, Shabby?
Yes, yes, it's exceptional match. It was again I said on the group as well. Like such kind of matches will save the ODI cricket from getting bored, because right now the tests and T20s are getting popular. So the point is, yes, the thing about getting qualified even after 37.1, there has to be some set rules. There has to be some what process behind it. Then when how are you conveying when there's such close matches or such important matches are there, that there should be some proper system to convey to the players, to convey to the umpires that this is the scenario. And I'm not sure whether umpire knew it or not. I'm not sure whether even if it know it, even if they know it, they are allowed to tell the players. I'm not sure about
Mhm,
that. I
mhm,
feel
mhm,
that should be the case, that if umpires are allowed to tell, then they should tell, because that's how cricket is being played, right? That's how the cricket is played. It should be fair, everything. So that was really unfair from Afghanistan side. Okay, analyst part should be there. I agree with that. That some message should go from the dressing room that this is the new equation or the new chance. But I don't think they were into that. Afghanistan, it maybe too new team to have such things at their place. Had it been India or any other big thing, definitely we could expect such thing. But yeah, one thing I just came to know that Jonathan Trott is their coach. So yeah, it
mhm.
was expected that being some kind of professionalism within that team. I'm not sure, but why it didn't happen. It was really good for Sri Lanka, but I am just curious that if Sri Lanka wins the Asia Cup again, like last year, whether Afghanistan would claim it, that it's ours. So yeah, fun match, and really unfortunate on the Afghanistan side, just like New Zealand 4 years ago. So yeah, good match, and let's hope to get more such matches going ahead. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Kevin, coming into the Super Force, Pakistan have managed to win their first game against Bangladesh. The Pacers, the Pakistani Pacers. If I'm not wrong, 9 wickets, 7 wickets, and 7 wickets for each of them. Shaheen Shah Afridi, Naseem Shah, and Harris Rauf. Harris Rauf is the leading wicket taker with 9 wickets, if I'm not wrong. All three are the leading wicket takers of this Asia Cup. They are rocking it in the Asia Cup, and you expect the same from them in the World Cup as well. So that pace attack, say Shadab Khan comes in form, You have a Mohammad Nawaz and a Fahim Ashraf. Whoever plays is a decent fifth bowler, not a great fifth bowler, but they have some part timers in Aga Salman and Iftikhar Ahmed if required. So it looks like a fantastic bowling attack, and they did win the first match against Bangladesh as well. So Pakistan looks really strong. Once their top four start firing with the bat, it's just non-stop for them, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I'm very happy for them. Like it was it's been years since you saw Pakistan bowling do so well, and this is back in the 90s, like when they had such a, you can say, they could have such a trio, uh, you know, for to stifle the opposition completely. And I'm very keen on how to and on the pitches that they play, because you never want a good side playing on bad pitches, like where I don't want, like would like to see a balance of both, like you're playing on some pitches that offer spin, some that offer bounce and turn, for the matter, because you don't want to see such Pakistan having to bowl on slow and sticky wickets, for that matter. And the quality that they have is, they definitely going to bowl well on that, on those pitches as well. But you just want, like, you want to see them do well and be fair. And the batting also has been coming off really good. So I would not consider them as favorites for the tournament, but they're definitely dark horses, because I'm not convinced that their middle order is really has had enough opportunities to do well, for that matter. And it's a pretty young middle order. I don't know if Asif Ali is still in contention, for that matter, but I think they have Agha Salman and they have Iftikhar Ahmed, and Iftikhar Ahmed got a good 100. Don't remember it. I think it was against Nepal, for that matter.
Nepal, yeah, against
Yes,
Nepal, yeah.
so it's looking promising, for that matter. And let's see how they do, how they fare well against good off spinners, especially on good spinning wickets. I know Babar is good and Rizwan, but I just want to see how, in the power play with these two, Imam and Fakar, going, how they negate that kind of challenge. So let's see where they go from here.
Yeah, they have a game tomorrow, but before that, let's just quickly discuss about today's game. Sri Lanka Bangladesh. Sadira Samra Vikrama scoring 93, which helped Sri Lanka post a decent total 257, if I'm not wrong. Bangladesh were in the run chase for the majority of it, but then Mushfiqur Rahim getting out at the wrong time, Ridoy getting out at the wrong time, and then they fell short by 20 odd runs. So Bangladesh will be disappointed, and Bangladesh will find it difficult now to make it to the final with two losses on the trot. In fact, I would say they are almost out of the tournament because they have only one game remaining, that too against India. So it's difficult for Bangladesh. But Sri Lanka, as Shabby mentioned, with their bowling, Tikshna, Patirana, they have Velalage and Dhananjay De Silva chips in, the Sunshanaka chips in. So they have a decent bowling lineup with some good batters, Kusal Mendes, Sadira Samra Vikrama. So once again, you never know. Say if they defeat India or Pakistan, they will make it to the finals once again, is what I believe. So Sri Lanka should be hoping for another good Asia Cup. And if they manage to win, we don't know what Afghanistan will do. But yeah, let's move on to the main game, which is tomorrow. Hopefully, it's tomorrow. If there is no rain, if there is rain, then it's on Monday. But if there is rain on Monday, then I think it's on Tuesday as well, right? They have kept all 7 reserved days, Monday to Friday. I don't know, but yeah, I think Shabby has mentioned that Pakistan have announced their 11. So if you would like to tell that 11, is it the same 11 which played against Bangladesh, or Mohammad Nawaz comes in back for Fahim Ashraf?
No, no, Fahim Ashraf is there.
Okay.
So different from what they played last time against India, but I guess same as the last match, their last match.
Last game
Yeah,
against Bangladesh. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But let's come to the main debate now about the Indian team. Indian team has announced the squad as well. We'll come to that as well. But before that, uh, the big issue. Number 5, who bats? Is it Ishan Kishan? Is it KL Rahul? I think that Gautam Gambhir clip is getting very famous, where he said that form ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है या नाम
Oh.
ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. And he says that Kishan has to play with 4 ODI centuries back to back, 4 ODI half centuries. So, Shabby, your thoughts on that? Who plays at number 5? Is it Ishan Kishan? Is it KL Rahul? Yes, Ishan Kishan left-handed. KL Rahul has done well at number 5. So, how do you look at it?
No, actually, they absolutely have no option like not to play KL Rahul. They have to bring KL Rahul, given that he's coming back after so much time. They have to give him practice, and They have to check his form as well, that so whether he can play long term for next 2 months. So they have to bring somehow. And if his only place is number five, then you have to move Ishan Kishan again. And maybe I think only player who can get dropped right now is Shubman Gill. But again, he did well against Nepal. So how can you drop him? And then obviously it will be unfair in terms of Ishan Kishan if he gets dropped and KL Rahul is playing. But I guess that will happen. Exact that thing will happen. That has happened earlier as well with Ishan Kishan. Score 200 and get dropped in the next match last year somewhere. So Ishan Kishan will be a scapegoat again, and he will be dropped just to check KL Rahul's form and just to give him match practice. Shreyas Iyer again same thing. He cannot be dropped, so he has to play as well. So yes, I can see Ishan Kishan getting dropped. One thing about Ishan Kishan I would like to mention here again, yeah, it was very good inning, 84, 85 odd runs. But I just saw the highlights of this match. I was not watching it live that day. But even in the highlights, I saw a few of the shots who were very risky and who were like, he the chance of getting out. So in the highlights, if I'm getting such shots, then obviously in the whole match, I can sense that he was not very fluent, at least in the initial part of the inning. So we all know that he's not very fluent player, just that initially he had some hiccups and then eventually once it settled and the spinners definitely didn't ball well, Pakistan spinner. So he got more settled and then eventually he played his good innings. But Ishan Kishan, I guess if they can identify his weaknesses and he bowl that way, then Ishan Kishan can definitely get out immediately, even if he's left-hander or right-hander doesn't matter. So yeah, KL Rahul is definitely more talented batsman, more settled batsman, more experienced batsman than Ishan Kishan. So he definitely deserves the place. But just as a current form, Gautam Gambhir comment, as you rightly said, current form is important, but then you have to say how fluent he was in that match. Initial part, definitely, because that's where most of the people lose the wicket. So if he was not fluent, he just like somehow got away with few chances and he then got settled, then he is not like that much deserving in the place as well in the exercise. So you can drop him. I think. So yeah, KL Rahul is coming tomorrow. I'm very sure about that in place of Ishan Kishan.
Yeah, and I contacted Rohit Sharma as well. This inside news, joking. Coming back, a question coming in as well. Kevin, if you can jump in here as well. Can we expect KL to open in place of Gill if the former can't keep wickets? I don't think that is happening. I will give my 2 cents and then Kevin can join in there. I don't think the batting order is being changed here. I think Rohit Sharma, Gill open, Kohli is 3, Iyer is 4. The only question is whether Ishan Kishan bats at 5, keeps his place at 5, or KL Rahul, who was the original number 5, comes back in place of him. And I believe I completely agree with what Shabby said, that KL Rahul will come back at number 5. Unfortunately, Ishan Kishan will be dropped because that's the only way you can fit in KL Rahul. All the rest top 4 you can't move and can't drop. So that's the only thing which I see happening. On this answer, I don't see KL Rahul opening in the next 2 months for India, whether it's the Asia Cup or the World Cup or the Australia ODI series. I don't see that happening. At max, you can see Kishan opening the innings, but I don't think KL is opening the innings. So, Kevin, your thoughts on the whole debate about the Ishan Kishan KL Rahul thing, and if you want to answer this question as well.
Yes, so as a cricket analyst, I would like to I don't know how do you go about it, but I think what you have to do is you have to follow continuity. You have a player Ishan Kishan. He did well against West Indies. You gave him confidence, and this is how where the management comes into focus. You gave him confidence by picking him as an opener when you knew that he can't play as an opener, and there could be a situation where you would have KL Rahul not being fit enough to keep, but you still backed him and you played him as an opener. You could have tried and tested him in the middle order, but you didn't do that because you knew that had he failed at that time, then the calls for Sanju Samson to make the squad would start raising about the restricted decibel level. So you have managed Kishan very well. You gave him 3 good games over there. He did well. You gave him an opportunity over here in the Asia Cup. He has done well. Now you can't drop him. You have to play him because it's the same opposition that he's done well. And because the reason why I'm saying is if you bring in KL Rahul now into this setup, and if he fails, then what do you do? So you bring Kishan then for the next game. You drop KL, or you say we can't drop KL Rahul for that matter. You pick in you continue with him. He fails another game, and then you realize that India has got knocked out of the Asia Cup. So why do you want to take that chance? Might as well you can just he's anyway coming back from injury. You give him a rest because you already have a guy who's done well for you. So you have some confidence in him. Continue with him for another game, and if in case he doesn't do well, and if you feel that there are some issues in his technique and you think that he's just going to be fit enough as a backup player, then you drop him and you proceed further with uh, with you can say is with you can drop KL Rahul and you can continue with, sorry, you drop Kishan and you continue with KL Rahul. The call that India has to make is how they manage Gill and Shreyas Iyer for that matter. Do you want to, because we're only considering KL Rahul purely on his batting now, because we're not sure whether he can keep or no. But I think he's the better batsman between Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer from an experience perspective. You don't want a player with that kind of experience who's played these opposition day in and day out and in all different conditions and then missing out just because he can't keep wickets. He's first a batsman whom you have encouraged him to keep wickets, and now he's becoming a wicketkeeper batsman. So, if in case he can't make it into the side as wicketkeeper batsman, you might have to consider him purely as a batsman. And if there's call between Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul, I would definitely pick KL Rahul for that matter, considering both of them are fit, because Shreyas Iyer has had his struggles when it comes to playing against the short ball. That is, I've never seen that some any kind of issues that KL Rahul has shown. Yes, he has been circumspect against the moving ball in the initial overs, but I think when he's batting in the middle order, I don't see him having those kind of struggles. So if in case, so like reiterating the debate, for tomorrow's game, I would like to see India going in the same side that played Pakistan the other day. Maybe if they want, they can just make some changes in the bowling, but I don't think it's needed. But I think KL Rahul has to wait for he has to wait for another game. Yes, because I think India has you. We have the series against Australia to try to give him an
Yeah.
opportunity. We have
Yep.
another two games, I guess, against Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. We can try him there as well. But the issue that my only fear is that if you pick him, KL Rahul, and if he doesn't do well in this game, if tomorrow he goes out cheaply, then you will not know how to manage that kind of situation where you will not know whether to bring back Kishan, and if in case you bring back Kishan and he if he has a single failure, now you have two players who are failing. Now what do you do? So we do not know like how good Shreyas Iyer for that matter is going to do it. So it's going to be a poor kind of like management perspective. So might as well, just like you have handled Ishan Kishan for that matter, gain him confidence. He's high in confidence at the matter. Don't drop him now. So blame for another game. See how he goes. See whether he has any issues in his technique for that matter. The important aspect that we are going to look in is now he will not have Mohammad Nawaz to counter. He'll have an extra seamer in Fahim Ashraf and just Shadab Khan. Let's see how that goes. And because we're not even taking into consideration the partnership that he had. It was the partnership between Kishan and Hardik. You never saw Hardik bat that way, but he was able to bat because of the the way Kishan was able to negate the spinners. So give him another game, and then let's see how they go from there. And coming back to yes, the call is, if in case Kishan does well and Simmons is spot, what do you do with KL Rahul? I think they have to find a way to fit in KL Rahul. You see, Shubman Gill, I understand he's got runs against Nepal for that matter, and he did well in India. But one of him, either it's Gill or Shreyas Iyer for that matter, might have to miss out if in case Kishan Simmons is spot at number 5, because you don't want, you need that kind of a left-hander in between. That is the reason you're picking Kishan, and he's going to do well. He might struggle a bit, but he's going to give you maybe 25-30 runs on average. But it's not the runs that he's going to get you, it's going to be the effect that he has on your other batsmen that will help you. And you that impact is why you're trying to push in an Akshar Patel or Ravindra Jadeja up the order to kind of give you that, because that you can say it's difficult to quantify the concept, but what you're doing is you're basically trying to affect the rhythm of the bowler by having a left right combination, and as we've seen, it tends to affect the bowler. So these are my opinions on this topic.
Yeah, but I would like to I would like Shabby also to come in this debate now, because see that just a minute, a couple of things coming up on my laptop. Yeah, sorry. The thing which you're mentioning is that they should continue in with Ishan Kishan, but see, KL Rahul hasn't had any match practice. So say if Ishan Kishan keeps doing well, then KL Rahul is straight into the World Cup without any game, is what you're saying. I did hear your last point where you said that KL Rahul can replace either of Gill or Iyer. But if Gill or Iyer are also doing well, you can't slot in KL Rahul then. So, I mean, it's an interesting debate, Shabby. How do you look at it? I think KL Rahul needs some game time, and you have to fit him at number five because that's the only position right now available. So, you can't take KL Rahul to the World Cup without any games, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. And I guess Dravid and Rohit, I guess they are of a thought process that if someone is picked as a first choice, then if he is fit, then he will play. I guess
Yeah.
that's how they followed earlier as well. That if it's first choice, then it remains first choice. Whenever it's available, he comes back to the team. So that's the mindset they follow. I absolutely agree with some point of Kevin as well that Ishan Kishan can't be dropped and he can be given one more chance to bit different kind of bowling. Nawaz is not there now, so can be given chance. If he fails, then they'll anyway get the reason to drop him and get KL Rahul in like full swing. But tomorrow they don't have any reason. The only reason is that he's the first choice and he's fit. So that way, bringing him is a bit unfortunate. But I feel they will bring him in the squad. Okay, Kishan will get dropped. But yeah, that's the way I guess they are thinking. Dravid and Rohit.
Kevin, any other changes apart from the batting thing which we see? Do you think an extra spinner comes in place of Shardul Thakur? I mean, the only extra spinner who can come in is Aksar. Based on what we saw today, a lot of turn on offers, so maybe Aksar in place of Thakur, or with rain forecast around, you want the third pacer in your side. And obviously, Bumrah comes back for Shami, is what I believe.
Um, it depends on the conditions. Like I want to see India back a three pace attack, and because talking about match, game time. I don't think Shami has played a lot post the Test
Yeah,
series. He's not played a lot
fair
of
point.
ODI cricket. So you want to put in, and I read a stat saying that since 2019 World Cup, Shardul Thakur has taken the most number of ODI wickets than any other player, and like it's been amazing. Like we never considered him from that perspective, and he was not in talks. The only reason we brought him up now is because of his batting.
Yeah,
So
one more reason is that they were giving race to most of the prime bowlers
Yeah,
in
first
ODI
choice
series.
bowlers.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
only the
yeah.
second choice bowlers were playing in the ODI series because we had a lot of T20 World Cups in between. So that's where Shardul Thakur gets that stat. He played a lot of matches, ODI cricket. That's why he is the highest wicket taker.
yes, and so you don't so you have a guy he has taken a lot of wickets. I think for this game you can consider dropping Shardul Thakur because he's always had confidence. Dropping him for one game I don't think it's going to affect him that much. But you need to give Shami some match practice. I want to see how these three pacers go about, and I think you can compromise on those 10-15 runs, 25 runs that Shardul Thakur might give you. So for this game, I would like to see
Give in
all
bowling,
three
right? Give in bowling.
in the batting, and
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you don't want to say India play a guy who can bat a bit or bowl a bit just because you want to strengthen up your lineup. You because you're picking specialist batsmen. If they're not getting the job done, how do you expect someone who can do a bit of both, come and score you runs? So I think for this game, they can just think of picking in you can say three good pacers, and you can have the two spinners. The Jadeja batting at seven. I understand that the tail is shorter, but it forces the batsman to play responsibly and very
Yeah.
cautiously, for that matter, because you don't want to pick a long batting lineup and have your batsmen throw their wickets and say, oh, we're trying to play an aggressive brand of cricket. That
Aggressive, yeah.
that's not the move. But yes, coming back to this debate, I think it's all on how the management goes about, because you have a player, and I think Surya Kumar Yadav, you picked him into the World Cup, so I hardly done well. Uh, and does he have how many 50s? I think he has two, three 50s for that matter.
Yeah,
But
we will come to the squad point. I think that's the next point which we will let's just dive into that topic now. All the thing about tomorrow's game and all is true only if the match happens. If there is no match, I don't know what we are talking about. But yeah, Kevin wants to talk about the squad, and we were going to talk about the squad because India has announced their 15-member squad for the World Cup, and while there are no surprises, the one talking point was Surya Kumar Yadav because he has no ODI credentials. I mean, he has played a lot of ODIs, but he hasn't done well. So there was a debate about why is Surya Kumar Yadav in the squad, but I believe the fact is that the Indian selectors just got stuck because they didn't give Sanju Samson enough opportunities to see him bat, and then they had no other option but to go with Surya Kumar Yadav. Apart from that, the rest 14 are pretty much what we expected. The only debate can be Yuzvendra Chahal, whether he should have found a place in the squad or not. But Kevin, your thoughts on the Surya Kumar Yadav debate? But Sanju didn't get enough opportunities. Not his issue, because in whatever opportunities he has got, he has done well in the ODI format. But the selectors were at the end stuck with Surya Kumar Yadav. They couldn't do anything, right?
It's ironic, like you talk about a player's consistency when it comes to performances, but you don't give him consistent opportunities to perform. So it's funny. With the talking about Surya Kumar Yadav, I hope like the good thing about having a player like Surya Kumar Yadav in the wings is that there is a lot of promise and there's a lot of hype around him. But he's not done so well that you're always going to debate before every game, like, does Surya Kumar Yadav, will Surya Kumar Yadav play this game, and he should play this game. So that's kind of like there's not much pressure on the 11 that is playing. So that's good from that perspective. uh it just goes to show how, like, within 2 weeks we're just talking about which players are going to, which could make it into the 11, and now we're talking about we can't fit in one guy. We're talking about KL Rahul not being able to fit into the side. So how things have changed completely just because of that one good innings from Ishan Kishan. So I cannot see how you can fit in Surya Kumar Yadav and how you can give him game time for that matter. In whose position are you going to play him? You'll have to request either, you'll have to request basically just Virat Kohli for that matter to please, could you sit out a game so that we can have Shreyas Iyer move up to number three, because I feel that he's going to be the future number three for India. And you can have him at three. You can have Ishan Kishan at 4, 5, KL Rahul, and 6, Surya Kumar Yadav. That is the only way I see him play. Or you can put Iyer at 3, play Surya Kumar at 4. Because I'm not sure why you pick Surya Kumar Yadav for the matter. Because if you're going to have an injury, if you have an injury to you can say Rohit Sharma for that matter, you're going to have Ishan Kishan bat. You come up and open the batting with Shuman Gill. I don't know if that is the right approach to have two youngsters opening, but that's how India has decided to go ahead. And Virat Kohli, for the matter, gets injured, you can push Shreyas Iyer up the order. But and KL Rahul, for that matter, you'll have to, if you have KL Rahul get injured, considering Ishan Kishan doesn't make the side, then you push Ishan Kishan, and it's going to be a big mess. So I don't see what benefit you have by picking in Surya Kumar Yadav. I know he bats well, but his the only place that he could have come in was Hardik Pandya, and because Hardik Pandya is like your all-rounder who can bat and bowl. So when you bring in Surya Kumar Yadav, you'll have to also bring in Shardul Thakur in place of Siraj or Bumrah, because you want someone who can, bowl and bat a bit. So it's a bit of a muddle. I just want to see how India, I think the warm up games are going to be very important for Surya Kumar Yadav. I don't see him playing against Australia for that matter as well. So it's bad.
He
Like
has three ducks against Australia. He can't play against Australia. And the game
so
is at Chennai. If I'm not wrong, we played the decider at Chennai.
yes,
That three-match ODI series which we
yes,
lost 2-1 uh, early this year, I think, if I'm not wrong, after the
yes.
Test series. So yeah. So I don't expect Surya Kumar Yadav to make the 11 unless there is an injury to a middle order batter. By middle order batter, I mean Shreyas Iyer. Because if KL Rahul is injured, as Kevin said, Ishan Kishan has to come in. The only place for Surya Kumar Yadav is if Shreyas Iyer is injured, then KL Rahul goes to 4, Hardik bats at 5, and Surya comes at 6. That's the only
No,
way
you would
Surya
still
gets
play
into the
Ishan
11.
Kishan for that matter, because Ishan Kishan has the runs. You have a guy who has scored four consecutive
Mhm.
50s, if I'm
Mhm.
not wrong, in
Mhm.
ODI.
Yeah,
How can you
yeah.
play like Surya Kumar Yadav in that position? So it's like it's a bad, you can say, situation. Like, luckily for India is like Ishan Kishan has done well in the middle order, so you don't have the debate
Yeah.
of Surya Kumar Yadav coming into the side. So I think maybe we might see Surya Kumar Yadav not even playing any game in the World Cup as well. Maybe you might just, I don't think there are any games, like, we don't have so maybe Netherlands for that matter. You might just want to
Netherlands,
rest.
but that too I think is the last India game, if I'm not wrong. Probably the
Oh,
last India game of the
so
league
Yes,
stage.
you might
So
just
yeah,
want to rest your players, so you might give him a
yeah,
chance. Like, thanks for
yeah,
coming,
yeah.
kind of like.
he's good player of spin as well, right? So he can play against Afghanistan as well. Okay.
But who
Interesting,
you
Yeah.
going to
interesting.
drop? Like, whom are you going to drop?
Rest, rest anyone. You can just
Okay.
rest, not
But
drop.
Afghanistan, I think we play Afghanistan at Delhi, so that won't be an easy game. If it's a 230, 240 wicket, Afghanistan will definitely be in the game. If it's a 320, 330 wicket, then you can say that India will be safe. But yeah,
Yes. I wish like we had this World Cup been had we had you can say quarterfinals for that matter, then you the concept of resting players would have been made much more sense because you would have the top eight teams, the top four teams from each group qualify or the top eight teams qualifying. So you could just rest and it's just about. But now with every game like just like a WTC point, every game is important for that matter. And if you look, even Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are doing well and they're competing. And Afghanistan always enters every tournament based on their spin trio as a dark horse. For that matter, with the hype of creating an upset. So there's so much at stake. I don't see any player wanting to be rested.
yeah,
So
true.
it's going to be fun like from that aspect. And coming back, I think someone has just reminded me that Sanju Samson has been sent back to India, which I'm
Yeah,
very happy so that he can actually get some game time because you just don't want a good player warming the bench and not getting enough game time. So might as well go back home, work on your game, improve it, and let's hope that there is.
hi. I don't know. One of my old friends is back in the chat. Hi, Mir. But yeah, Shabby, the only last point remaining to discuss is about Yuzvendra Chahal. We have already three spinners in the squad: Jadeja, Akshar Patel, and Kuldeep Yadav. Uh, Four pacers in the squad with Shardul Thakur as the fourth pacer. Did Yuzvendra Chahal miss out on the bus, or it's a fair call, you think, from the selectors?
No, I already said that the only reason he was dropped because none of the bowlers can bat, and then he was one of them who was like most contentious for getting dropped. Then he got dropped because he's just like others. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
we all know that how important it is for them to have a batter at number eight. That's why we had like Shadul as well as Aksar in the team. And right now, I also saw some photos that Shiraz is doing batting practice and Bumrah is doing batting
yeah,
practice.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
guess maybe Chahal was not ready to do that as well. So maybe he was wrong. So
Fair
yeah,
point.
the only thing is they want a bowler who can at least swing it around or at least give you single when it's crucial situation. And I don't think Chahal doing. I don't see Chahal
Yeah,
doing that. So the only reason he
yeah. Chahal,
is not. Yeah,
the
yeah,
maximum he can do is hit it on the pitch, like outside the pitch, and all he doesn't manage to hit the ball. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I
exactly.
agree with you that his batting credentials are absolutely nothing, and then with his bowling as well, he hasn't been like the best leg spinner India has seen. Kuldeep has done better than him, but Kevin would come and debate and say that when has Kuldeep taken wickets against whom and all. You have to see all that, but yeah. I think it's a fair call saying that Yuzvendra Chahal missed out on the bus because there were better spinners and players who could bat as well. So the couple of things going against Yuzvendra Chahal, and it's unlucky for him because he missed out on the T20 World Cup as well. I mean, he was in the squad for the last T20 World Cup, didn't play a single game. 2021 as well, he missed out to Rahul Chahar. That was quite strange. Varun Chakravarti and Rahul Chahar were selected ahead of him. So a lot of unluck or not good enough for Yuzvendra Chahal. But yeah, that's it for today. I think all excited about tomorrow's game between India and Pakistan. Hopefully, it doesn't rain. I have said that for the seventh time in this podcast because it is the forecast is for rain for the whole day and for the reserve day as well. But Shabby is in talks with the rain gods, and hopefully he can manage some weather and see that it's sunny tomorrow afternoon in Colombo. At the R Premadasa Stadium, where the match is going to
I
be
will
held
try to
between India
bring
and
all that rain to Mumbai because anyway we have habit of seeing that much rain. That
Sure,
I will try.
sure. Kevin, any ending thoughts about tomorrow's game? Any predictions about how Shaheen Shah Afridi will get the wicket of Rohit Sharma once again and all that?
Not so much. I want to see Pakistan bat first. I want to see India bowl to Pakistan, and I want to see how they chase because we've had those what you can say is the nightmares of the 2017 final, 2019 semi-final where we were unable to chase. So, and I don't think our bowling is good enough to defend scores of 250. Yes. So considering what we picked last time, if you're going in with a three, you can say three proper pacers and two genuine spinners, then I completely back our bowling lineup. But we're going with a bit of both, so it's too much pressure on the batting for that aspect. So I want to see India chase. So I wish like okay, like whoever wins the toss, I don't. I'm irrespective of that. I want to see India chase tomorrow, and let's see how it goes about. And I just want to say, like I think. Umpires need to come up with this kind of concept, like when they see the forecast, they decide in advance and then let's not take a play a 50 over game, let's do it short and sweet, we can do just a 30 over game, so that
Short and sweet. I
yes,
mean,
so
before the match starts, they should decide it's a 30 over game or what?
yeah, based on the forecast, I think they should just do that. Let's do a 40 because you can just completely chuck the DLS. What you can say is rule out of perspective, because as of now we've not had that kind of issue in World Cups where you can have this kind of a concept, and especially with such a kind of structure in place where you have only the top four going to qualify. So it's bad, like it's bad because you don't want a team miss out on games or lose points due to rain. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, let's see tomorrow's game, India Pakistan, 5:30 a.m. EST in Atlanta, 3 p.m. IST in India and in Sri Lanka as well, I guess. So that's it. Australia have won the second ODI as well. South Africa have managed only 269, all out 269. Sean Abbott taking 2 wickets. Adam Zampa, the pick of the bowlers, with 4 wickets. So they have taken a 2-0 lead in a 5-match ODI series. Australia going strong. South Africa have a lot of concerns. But all eyes on tomorrow's game between India versus Pakistan at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. We are hyping it up because Star Sports has paid 50 rupees each. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining on this special episode of Wrong One. We will be back next week with the Asia Cup and the two ODI series which are on currently. Thank you very much. Do like, share, and subscribe.